What if I told you the woman who created the national cocktail of the Bahamas never drank a drop of alcohol in her entire life? This is the Goombay Smash. So the woman who created this, Miss Emily, was severely allergic to pineapples, which means she never once tasted her own creation. And despite this, it became one of the most famous, closely guarded drinks in all of the Caribbean. And to find this drink, you have to travel all the way to Green Turtle Cay. It is a tiny 3-mile island in the outer islands of the Bahamas. And there on Victoria Street, you'll find a small blue shack called Miss Emily's Blue Bee Bar. And sometime in the late 60s, Miss Emily sat inside on a rainy afternoon mixing spirits while the local men played dominoes outside. And she handed them a brand new concoction, and it kind of blew them away. And that drink became the Goombay Smash. Now, because Miss Emily couldn't drink or taste pineapple, she built the entire recipe strictly by watching the expressions on the men's faces in the yard. And today, it is actually the national cocktail of the Bahamas. Miss Emily is sadly passed, but the bar is now owned by her daughter Violet and granddaughter Felicia, and 3 generations, and the recipe's never actually been leaked. They actually batch it behind closed doors and pour it from an unmarked plastic jug. And since the real spec is locked in a family vault, we are building this recreation using sources much smarter than I. So we start with just 1/3 of an ounce of lime juice. And next on the list is orange juice. So the original island version reportedly skips the orange, but it is almost always used in mainland recreations, and you need 1 ounce of orange juice. And now, while the recipe is a family secret, Miss Emily's granddaughter did confirm in an interview that they do use canned Dole pineapple juice exclusively. So you need 1.5 ounces of pineapple juice. And there's a rumor going around that the secret ingredient in the family jug is a heavy hit of aromatic bitters. And it being a Caribbean drink, that's probably pretty accurate. So you need 2 dashes of Angostura bitters. And the next ingredient on the list is one that I find very underrepresented in tiki and tropical cocktails, and that is apricot liqueur. Not brandy, it is apricot liqueur according to Rob Crabtree of the Boat Drinks Bar. So apricot liqueurs show up in every accurate, and I want to emphasize accurate, historical account of this drink. Many other recipes are floating around that use brandy or completely skip the apricot completely. So you need 1/2 ounce of apricot liqueur. And the next ingredient on the list is coconut rum. Now, Miss Emily's probably still uses Rico Bay, which is a full 40% ABV Bahama spirit. Now avoid Malibu because that'll be too syrupy and artificial flavored. And you want something that's a little bit more true to life and a little bit more substance. So I am using Plantaray Cut and Dry, and you need 1 full ounce. And the last true ingredient that you need is, of course, Jamaican rum. Now, Miss Emily always used what she called dirty rum, which is just a fun way of saying a dark pot still rum. So Myers Dark is traditional, Hamilton Pot Still Black, or Appleton 8 work as well. But today I wanted something that I really enjoy, so I am using Worthy Park, and you need 1 full ounce. We'll then add ice to our shaker tin and give it a nice whip shake. We'll then strain the drink over fresh ice into a glass of your choice. And garnish with a pineapple wedge and an orange wheel. And there she is, Miss Emily's Goombay Smash. So yeah, it's good. Now, I've had the Goombay Smash before. I've had quite a few of them, and they've all kind of been a little bit different. Overall, this is probably the best one, or close to the best one that I've had. I do want to go back to something I said in the open about inaccurate recipes out there, some people being wrong. I shouldn't say being wrong, because again, it's a recipe that's never truly leaked. Only a couple true ingredients have really been confirmed, right? So, but there are a lot of recipes out there that completely skip the apricot liqueur. Others use brandy, which, I mean, it's going to be pretty close to the same if you use an apricot liqueur or an apricot brandy. I wanted to go with the liqueur because that's what Rob Crabtree, who's pretty up to snuff when it comes to Caribbean cocktails. So I'll go with what he says, which is it's an apricot liqueur, right? So, but I've seen plenty of the Goombay Smash recipes out there that completely skip the apricot liqueur. Don't do that. Add it in. There's not a lot in there, but it does give it a distinct flavor. Now, the one thing I will say about the Goombay Smash is it's not something I would make all the time. It's good. It's not great. So it did become the national cocktail of the Bahamas right alongside the Bahama Mama. But there's a few things you could do to this that would, in my opinion, again, I don't want to, tarnish the legacy of Miss Emily because she did more in this life than I ever will, right? she became world famous. I'm not. And so there's a few things, in my opinion, that would make it more palatable to myself. So actually, surprisingly enough, I made a second one with those changes. Now, it doesn't have the fancy garnish because it's really just a test drink, but what I did, I felt the Goombay Smash had too much of a pineapple taste. I think 1.5 ounces of pineapple juice is a little bit too much. I think the 1/3 ounce of lime juice is a little too little. It's not enough. And I wanted something that added a bit more of a sweetener to it, because there's really not a true sweetener in this cocktail. It's really just using a little bit of lime juice, the little bit of sweetness that the pineapple would add, the sweetness from the coconut rum, the sweetness from the rum, and then the sweetness from the orange juice. So what I did was I dropped the pineapple juice from 1.5 ounces to 1 ounce. I upped the lime juice from 1/3 ounce to 3/4 ounce, and I added 1/4 ounce of Demerara syrup. So everything else is the same. That recipe is right here. So take a screenshot, or it'll be in the description below. But so that's what I tried, and I'm gonna give it a shot right now, and you'll get my live pre-recorded reaction. It's tart. This one is more tart because of the lime juice. If I had to recreate this for a third time, which I have a third one, I'm joking, I don't have a third one. I would actually dial that lime juice back just a little bit. I would take it up to 1/2 ounce from that 1/3 ounce. But I do believe that dropping the pineapple lets you enjoy the other flavors a little bit more. And then adding that Demerara syrup just kind of helps round it out a little bit more. So obviously try them both. Let me know what you thought of both of the recipes. Again, everybody's gonna be a little different. There's gonna be a lot of people that prefer the Goombay Smash as it is told in the record books, I guess you'd call it, or the one that I created, right? Because I've had a lot of people say, hey, if you don't like a drink, or if it's not up to par, or if it's like a 6 out of 10, what would you do to change it, right? So a lot of people ask that. So with this drink, because again, I've had them before, so I'm not going into a blind, I know, or at least I had an inkling of what I would change. So that's what I would do. I would basically keep everything the same, up the lime juice a little bit, drop the pineapple juice a little bit, and then add in a Demerara syrup, or just a regular simple syrup. I wouldn't add anything like a cinnamon syrup. That would change it too much. I wouldn't use grenadine, because then at that point, there's only so much you can do to this cocktail before it really becomes a riff on a Bahama Mama. So you don't want to go too overboard with it, but I mean, overall, it's a good cocktail. So discounting my own personal version of the Goombay Smash, what would I rate the original? Again, we don't know the true recipe. I've never been to Miss Emily's. I've never been to the Bahamas. I've been to Jamaica once, which was fantastic from what I can remember. But maybe what they do down there is a little bit different than what's been recorded. But for the accurate Goombay Smash that is floating around, I'm gonna give it a 7. 7 out of 10. It's good. It's better than fine. It's above average, but it's something where I would much rather have my recreation than the one that is floating around online. So again, please let me know in the comments if you've tried this. I'm sure you've had a Goombay Smash before. If it's your first time, let me know which version you liked better. But that all being said, if you liked what you watched today, please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Akoli Maluna, cheers, and enjoy.